What is up, YouTube? Cricket Sparrow 19 coming to you today with my top 10 cards that can go in a main deck. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to do a top 10 list now, and it was a good way to start it off, and I'm going to give you guys the top 10 Synchros, top 10 Fusions, and top 10 Exies later. But right now I want to just start with the top 10 cards that belong in the main deck. They don't have to go in there, but they're just my personal top 10 cards that are in the main deck. And hopefully you guys enjoy this, but remember, this is an opinion. This is my personal opinion on everything, so please enjoy. At number 10, we do have Don Zaluga. Don Zaluga is one of those cards that was just always fun to have back in the day. He's such a badass in his artwork. And he's one of my favorites because he's just one of those just awesome cards. Like, he has a scorpion tattoo, and he's all these muscles, and he looks totally badass. And, like, he looks like he could give you one of those, a 1-2, you know, the old 1-2. I wish you would see more play nowadays, but I haven't seen him outside of everyone's binder. And I've always wanted to pick him up, but it's just no use for him. And to me, he's not really worth picking up. So, number 9, we have Necro Valley. Necro Valley has always been one of those cards that has shut down opponents, and I've always loved field spells. So, it was one of those field spells that locks down and everything, so I could make a top 10 on just field spells, and maybe I might do that sometime. But right now, Necro Valley's number 9 on my top 10, because I've always loved seeing people put it in decks that isn't Gravekeepers, just for that little added lockdown. I know there's a couple of decks that can play it, like I've played it in Dark Worlds, and it's amazing because it just kind of shuts your opponent down, and Dark Worlds get all their effects. So, number 8, we have Half or Nothing. This is just a fun little battle trap. I don't really think it sees much play. It's just a fun little card. It just halves the attack points of all your opponent's monsters they currently control, or it ends the battle phase. But if it gets MST during main phase 1, there's no way to chain. So you can't. So Waboku and Threatening Roar better answers to OTKs. So I try not to incorporate this a lot. At number 7, we have Trade-In. I've always enjoyed this card because if you play a lot of high-turn monsters, they're not so dead in your hand with this. You just discard it and draw 2 cards. It's discard 1 level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. Really great. And then moving on, we got number 6 is Reckless Greed. Reckless Greed is one of those cards you just draw 2 cards and skip your next 2 draw phases. It's really good. Partner next to other draw cards, so if you draw 2 off of it, it may lead you into a card that you can draw 2 more off of. So that's why I really like this card. But on top of that, like, it also generates a +1 if you think about it in the long run. If you activate 3 Reckless Greeds, 1, 2, 3, and you just manufactured a +1, and it's really hard to find +1s in this day and age. Number 5, we have Mirror Force. It's always been my favorite trap, and it's always been my favorite card. One of my favorite cards because it was just one of those cards that really stops your opponent dead. It destroys all their monsters, and it's just I love it because this card was one of those cards. I remember when the only rarity was the Metal Raiders version, I believe, Ultra, and it was just so hard to get your hands on. I mean, I never owned one until they were commons, and now I have a super and a common, so yippee, I need to upgrade. But I always thought that this card was really good. It's still good today. Number 4, we have Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. If you know me, I love the Fire Fist monsters because they're really awesome. I love that they can play a spell to get advantage to play this, to get more advantage. Just a really fun deck to play. I've always had fun playing it, but why not go with their big monster bear? His art is amazing. He looks like a samurai about to be on the attack, and the deck is just really fun, and I really enjoy Bear because he's playable in other decks other than the Fire Fist deck because of Tenki. Sorry about that. I have to adjust the camera real quick. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. So Bear, and then number 3 is Fire King Yaksha because I play this deck and the deck was. I play Fire Kings, and the deck was just not playable until we got this card out of Judgment of the Light. Literally, this card made the deck playable, and it was so hard to play this deck without this card, and a lot of praise I gotta have it is to Yaksha, so Yaksha. Number 2 is Demise King, the King of Armageddon. I've always loved this card because I remember back when this card was huge, and it was just terrible. You pay 2,000 life points to destroy all cards on the field except him. And he's a 2,400 beater. He's worse than JD, yes, because you got to pay more, and he's a ritual. But it was so easy because you could generate advantage so easily with this card. You just went Advanced Art Ritual, and then you did 2 Insect Knights to the graveyard. You blew up the field. And then you played a Doom Dozer, and then you kept the field locked down with a Doom Dozer and a Demise, and that was just ridiculous back in the day. And he's a really good card. I wish I could still build a deck around him. I'm going to try, guys. So, hopefully we can get that going. And plus his artwork is just so amazing. And our number 1 card of the top 10 cards that are in the main deck are Thestalos, the Firestorm Monarch. Why Thestalos? Because I've always loved the Monarch deck, and Thestalos has always been my favorite because he discards a card out of your hand and then burns your opponent. I hope to see the Mega Monarch to do something to like discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand and then grab 2 cards from your opponent, like burn them for 200 for each star if they're 2 monsters, and it'd be really cool to see that. So that would be really awesome. Also, on top of that, he's just so cool because fire is my thing, kind of. I play a lot of the fire decks. I play Battling Boxers and Fire King, so 2 fire decks. Okay, so, and this card's just too good. Like, I really like this guy, and the only deck that's liked me in the last few formats has been Fire Monarchs. And for that, I have to give it to a Monarch. It's number 1 spot to a Monarch because I've always loved the Monarchs. I've always loved them, but I was limiting 1 card per for archetype. So, thank you very much for watching, and please comment and subscribe like always. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!